There's this idea that has completely taken over modern society, especially online. And it basically goes like this: if you're not constantly working, improving yourself, building a business, going to the gym, investing money, waking up at 5 a.m., doing your stock portfolio, investing money every day, reading 10 books a month, starting a side hustle, and somehow making six figures before the age of 25, then apparently you're wasting your life. And I think we need to talk about that because somewhere along the way, ambition turned into obsession. There's absolutely nothing wrong with wanting more from your life. I actually think ambition is a good thing. You should have goals. You should want to improve yourself. You should want financial security. And you also should probably take your health way more seriously, learn new skills, and try to create a better future for yourself. But hustle culture takes all of those perfectly reasonable things and turns them into something completely unhealthy. It tells you that no matter what you're doing, you should always be doing more. Oh, you made 2K this month. Why aren't you making 5K? You went to the gym 4 times this week. Why don't you go 6 times a week? You have a normal 9 to 5 job. Apparently, you're a slave. You spent Saturday playing Call of Duty with your friends. Congratulations. According to half of Instagram, somebody else was apparently outworking you. And I think that's one of the biggest problems with hustle culture. It makes completely normal human behavior feel like failure. Rest becomes laziness. Relaxing becomes wasting time. Having hobbies becomes unproductive. And suddenly, every single hour of your day has to somehow contribute towards money, fitness, status, or personal development. You can't just go for a walk anymore. You have to get 10,000 steps. You can't just exercise because you enjoy it. You need to optimize your workout routine. You can't just read something interesting. You need to read books that increase your productivity. You can't even sleep normally without someone telling you about a billionaire who supposedly wakes up at 4:17 every morning and takes an ice bath before running 3 companies at the same time. And eventually you start looking at your entire life like one gigantic productivity spreadsheet. But human beings aren't machines. We're not AI robots trying to do tasks all at once. We were never supposed to be productive every waking second of every day. And social media has made this problem so much worse. But every time you open TikTok, Instagram, or YouTube, somebody younger than you is apparently richer than you. You'll see some 21-year-old standing beside a Lamborghini telling you that if you work a normal job, you're wasting your potential. Then another guy shows you his rented penthouse. And another person says they made 100 grand drop shipping last month. Another person tells you to quit your job immediately and start an agency. Then somebody else says you should be investing everything you earn. And after watching enough of this content, you start thinking, what am I actually doing wrong? You could actually be doing reasonably well in life, but social media convinces you that you're falling behind. You might have a job. You might have savings. You might have friends. You might have a family that actually cares about you. You might be improving yourself slowly, but because you don't own a Lamborghini at 23, suddenly you feel like you failed. And obviously, there's another major problem here. A lot of what you're seeing isn't real, or at the very least, you're not seeing the full picture. Someone might show you the expensive car without telling you it's rented. They'll show you the revenue from their business without showing you the expenses. They'll tell you that they've made 50 grand in 1 month without mentioning they spend 40 grand on advertising. They'll show you the Rolex, the holiday, the apartment, the business class flight, but you never see their bank statement. You don't know whether they're in debt. You don't know whether their parents give them money. You don't know whether their business is even profitable. You don't know whether they're completely miserable when the camera turns off, and you're comparing your entire life to somebody else's highlight reel. And that's always going to make you feel inadequate. There's also this strange obsession within hustle culture with suffering. You'll hear things like, sleep when you're dead, nobody cares, work harder. While you're sleeping, somebody else is grinding. And those quotes sound motivational for about 15 seconds until you actually think about them. Sleep isn't weakness. Rest isn't weakness. Spending time with your family isn't weakness. Going on holiday isn't weakness. Playing games with your friends isn't weakness. Sometimes doing absolutely nothing for an afternoon isn't weakness either. These things are a part about being alive. Imagine reaching 70 years old and realizing you spent your entire 20s and 30s chasing numbers on a screen. More money, more followers, more clients, more productivity, more achievements. But you never actually enjoyed any of it. You kept saying, I'll relax when I make 10 grand a month, or I'll relax when I make 100 grand a month. Then you make 10 grand and then suddenly you want 20 grand. I'll be happy when I get in shape. Then you get in shape and then suddenly you need to look even better. I'll enjoy life when my business finally succeeds. Then the business succeeds. And now you're terrified of losing it. The finish line constantly moves. It's like you're kicking a ball into a goalpost, but the goalpost keeps moving. And that's something hustle culture rarely talks about. If your happiness is always attached to the next achievement, you'll never actually arrive because there's always another level. There's always someone richer than you. There's always someone stronger than you. There's always someone with more followers. And there's always going to be somebody who started younger. At some point, you have to decide what enough actually looks like. And I think another damaging thing hustle culture has done is convince people that traditional jobs are somehow embarrassing. You've definitely seen this online. People saying things like, imagine working a 9 to 5. You're building someone else's dream or escape the matrix. And listen, there are absolutely people stuck in terrible jobs. There are people who are underpaid. There are people who want to build businesses and should probably take that risk. But having a regular job doesn't make you a failure. Some people generally want stability. They want to go to work, earn their money, go home, spend time with their family, play football on the weekend, and travel occasionally and live a peaceful life. And there's nothing wrong with that. Not everyone wants to become an entrepreneur. Not everyone needs a personal brand, and not everybody needs 7 income streams. And sometimes the internet makes it sound like if you're not monetizing every skill you have, you're wasting it. Like imagine someone who really enjoys photography. Immediately the internet says, you should start a photography business. Or what if someone enjoys cooking, for example, and they genuinely love to cook? Everyone starts saying, start a food page, start a blog. And then somebody who enjoys fitness, become an online coach. Can we not just have hobbies anymore? Can we do something simply because we enjoy doing it? Because the moment everything becomes a business, everything starts feeling like work. And ironically, people who follow hustle culture too aggressively sometimes destroy the exact things that made them happy in the first place. They burn themselves out, they lose friendships, relationships fall apart, their health deteriorates, they become constantly anxious. And even when they're technically successful, they can't enjoy that success because their brain is permanently thinking about the next goal. And that's not freedom. That's just another type of prison. And I think there's also a deeper reason why hustle culture has become so popular. A lot of young people generally feel financially insecure. Housing is expensive. Rent is expensive. Food is expensive. People want financial independence. They see their parents struggling and don't want the same future. So when somebody comes online and says, you can escape all this, you can start this business, make this much money, become financially free, buy my course. Sorry. Obviously, people are going to listen. The dream is incredibly attractive. And again, wanting financial freedom isn't bad. But when you're anxious about your future, you're also much easier to sell something to, which is why there's an entire industry built around selling people the dream of escaping ordinary life. And this isn't just a phenomenon that was just made a few years ago. This happens all the way back to the 1980s and 1990s with infomercials.
Seen often on programs like The Today Show. Tony has achieved worldwide celebrity status by helping people overcome lifelong fears, lose weight, live life more passionately, and become financially independent.
Action that will move you in the direction of achieving your true goals and desires. Every day, you'll build on the success of the day before while mastering a breakthrough technology for your own consistent personal achievement. Listening to these personal power tapes is like hiring Tony Robbins as your own personal success coach. Now, you might expect that a program like this would cost $300 or more. But because we're offering this directly through television, personal power can now be yours for only $179.95.
Courses, mentorships, training communities, business programs, productivity apps, supplements, morning routines, you name it. Sometimes the person telling you how to get rich became rich by selling you information about how to get rich. And there's something slightly ironic about that. So what's the alternative? Do we just give up? Do nothing? Become lazy? Obviously not. There's a massive difference between rejecting hustle culture and rejecting ambition. You can still work hard. You can still build something. You can still go to the gym. You can still save money. You can still start a business and have massive goals. Difference is that your goals should improve your life rather than consume it. Instead of asking, how can I be productive every single second? Maybe you should ask, what am I actually trying to build? Maybe you don't need 10 different side hustles. Maybe you need one skill that you're generally good at. Maybe you don't need to wake up at 5 a.m. every morning. Maybe you just need 8 hours of sleep and a consistent routine. Maybe you don't need to become a millionaire. Maybe financial security, a comfortable home, meaningful work, and people you love would genuinely make you happier. And the funny thing is, slowing down sometimes actually makes you more productive. When you're constantly grinding, eventually your work becomes terrible. You lose creativity, you lose motivation, you become exhausted, you get burnt out. But when you actually rest, you come back with energy. That's why professional athletes have rest days. That's why muscles need recovery. That's why your brain needs sleep. Recovery isn't separate from progress. Recovery is a part of progress. And I think we especially need to remember this while we're young, because your 20s shouldn't be just about one gigantic preparation phase for your 30s. Your 30s shouldn't just be a preparation for your 40s, and your 40s shouldn't just be preparation for retirement. At some point, you have to actually live, go somewhere, meet people, play games, spend time with your parents while you still can, see your grandparents while you still can, travel if you can. Make stupid memories with your friends. Learn something because it's interesting. Sit somewhere without looking at your phone, because one day you'll realize that the ordinary moments you constantly rushed through were actually your life. And I'm not saying this as somebody who thinks goals don't matter. I actually think having goals gives life direction. But there's a difference between ambition and obsession. Ambition says, I want to improve my life. Hustle culture says, my life has no value until I've improved it. And those are completely different mindsets. So, yes, do work hard, build something, take risks, improve yourself, make money, get stronger, chase whatever dream you've got, but don't become so obsessed with building your future that you completely forgot to experience your present. Because the goal shouldn't be to become the most productive person in the graveyard. The goal should be to build a life you actually enjoy living. And sometimes the most productive thing you can do is turn everything off for a while. Load up some Call of Duty, talk to your friends, and realize that you don't have to earn the right to enjoy your life. So yeah, guys, that was just a little commentary video for you guys about hustle culture. If you did enjoy it, please leave a like down below, subscribe if you're new, and also leave a comment down below about what you think about hustle culture. And do you think it's a good thing or do you think it's a bad thing? Let me know your opinions down below. I want to read them, and I do generally respond to every single comment that I get in all my videos. And thank you all so much for watching once again, and I'll see you all in the next video. Take care of yourselves, and peace.